Oh,
Hi, you guys.
hi, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna have both of you go to kahoot.it and put in the numbers that you see on the screen. Hey, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining. We're just going to this website, kahoot.it, and then
Okay.
putting in these numbers into that website.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
And can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the Kahoot is right now to answer your question. Today we're going to do one Kahoot now and then a couple videos. Today's going to be mostly review. We do have one new thing, which is going to be the way certain words sound with what's called the glottal T. You might notice sometimes when Americans speak, or maybe sometimes British people speak, they don't really pronounce the T sound very hard. For example, you might hear someone say fountain instead of fountain with that really harsh sound. So we're gonna go over how to make that sound, what that looks like, and we'll have a couple examples for you. Okay, perfect. Thank you everyone for joining the Kahoot. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Now remember, if you need to, you can go to the Zoom to see the questions on my screen and the answers on my screen if you're having trouble figuring out what buttons to click on your website. So if you need to go back and forth between the Zoom and the website that you typed in for Kahoot, then please do so. If you have any questions, please ask me. So we're going to go ahead and begin the game, I think. We're just going to make sure you're paying attention right now. My name's Keto. I think I've met all of you. My favorite fruit is mango, okay? You have two options, and they're both the same. Awesome. All right. Now let's get to a real question. You may or may not know this. Don't worry if you do or do not know this. Elision happens when we remove a sound from a word when speaking. True or false? Blue is true, red is false. It is true. We'll go
What?
over. Sorry, do you have a question?
Nothing. No, no.
No worries. We'll go over why we have all these questions in a little bit. All right. Another true or false. Schwa is the sound in a word. For example, umbrella.
Oh, no.
That is true. What is the Oxford comma? Some of you might have been here for this class. This was a few weeks ago. Red, it's a normal comma. Blue, it separates a list of things and people. Perfect. Next question. Which option best represents how iambic sounds? Da-dum or dum-da? So is it da-dum or dum-da? Perfect. It is dum. All right, true or false? Iambic speech is an stressed syllable pattern. Kind of like the word obtain. Is kind of a lower, lazier pronunciation, and then tain feels really strong. Obtain. That's an iambic word. So is it true or false? True. Perfect. All right, you guys. The English language is very iambic. True or false? Does it have this rhythmic heartbeat sound? Awesome. Good job, you guys. What does a child say if he wants to let grandma know that the food is ready to eat? Let's eat, grandma, or let's eat, grandma. Ooh, one of you got it right. One of you got it right. Let's eat, comma, grandma means let's eat together. And let's eat grandma without the comma means we're going to eat grandmother, literally, like cannibalism. Please don't do that, obviously. Very spooky. All right. We have two more questions. Glug is a hollow pouring sound that water makes. Good job, you guys. Yes, it is. And then glottal T is a sound made when you close the throat and make a glugging sound. True or false? Blue is true, red is false. That one is true. That one is true. All right. This is kind of a fake competition, this one. So I'm not really going to keep track of who scored, but thank you everyone for participating in this Kahoot. Good job, you guys. We're going to get out of there. Okay, I think what we're going to do next is we're going to go to Glottal T, and we're going to start with those videos. Before we start with those videos, let me just ask some of you about your weekend. It's Monday. What did you do this weekend, Wenhee?
I cleaned up the house. So I went swimming. And I hang out.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like that. No
Yeah.
guitar? No guitar lessons?
No lesson, but I practice every day.
Good, good. That's awesome.
Mm.
Thank you for sharing and thank you for being here in class. Dilnoza, how was your
Yeah.
weekend?
Actually, we on the weekend we went to a public library with my kids, and after that we visited the park. Did we did some walking, cycled to it a little bit, and the next day I bake a
Ooh,
cake for the whole family.
oh, that's so sweet. Okay. So hopefully you had a really nice day at the library and the park. What kind of cake did you bake?
I did a cheesecake brownie.
Oh, cheesecake brownie. Okay. All right. That sounds good. And then what about you, Mary? What did you do this weekend?
Uh, this weekend, my daughter next week had will have a party. I went to shop for her
Okay.
and clean my house and study English.
Okay, awesome. It
Yeah.
sounds like we have a lot of birthdays, maybe, or celebrations this month. My brother's birthday is today. My
Oh,
dad's birthday was last week. So, I feel like, one of us baked a cake, one of us is celebrating with our daughter in this Zoom class. So that's great. I'm glad to hear everyone had a nice weekend or they're looking forward to some things happening later in the week. I just want to ask really quickly, we're switching gears now. How many of you have heard the glottal T or worked with a teacher on pronouncing the glottal T? Is this a familiar uh, word for any of you?
No, what's a glottal?
Yeah, glottal T is this T sound we make in English that isn't really a T sound. It's more of like this glugging sound with water.
Like water. It's a
Kind of like,
water.
yeah, kind of like water. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
best way to put it.
kind of like that. I heard a little bit from
Mhm.
teacher, and then I also watched the video from YouTube on YouTube. Some kind of a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah, so it's this sound we make in English where we close the throat and then we start speaking again in the middle of a word. So for example, like I said earlier, there's the word fountain where a lot of English speakers they do not say fountain with the t sound. They say fountain and they kind of
Oh,
skip over the T. So yeah, fountain. So we're gonna kind of go over how to make that sound. For some of you, it might be easy. For the rest of you, it might be a little unnatural, might be a little uncomfortable and strange. It's just part of learning the language. So if you're sensitive to noises, let me know now, because we're gonna be practicing some of these sounds. But let's go ahead and get straight into just hearing that water glug sound. Could you all hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
water. Mm.
Here's a more dramatic example.
This is a gluggle jug, and it's absolutely the best way to serve water to someone because of the funny noise that it makes. It's good, isn't it? I really wanted to know what was going on.
So y'all hear that sound?
Yeah.
So in English, when we make this different type of T sound, it's called the glottal T. We kind of make this glugging sound. And so we're going to practice a little bit of that in a second. We're going to watch another video and then we're just going to practice a couple of those sounds. So let me go ahead and go here.
A drink,
Oops.
a drink of water. Hi everyone, welcome back to Pronunciation with Emma. In today's video, we're going to have a look at how to pronounce the glottal stop. More specifically, I'm going to talk about when the t becomes a glottal stop, because there are other sounds as well which can become glottalized, but we're just going to focus on when t becomes a glottal stop in this video. So let's start with how we pronounce the glottal stop. What I do with my students is I give them this phrase here. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. So what's happening when I pronounce this is I'm closing my vocal cords here, or vocal folds, okay? I'm closing them here just for a second. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Now, we can use this sound to replace the t in the middle of words or at the end of words. Let me give you some examples. Water, water. So notice I can say water, water, and I can pronounce that T. But what you may hear is a lot of people saying water, water.
Now, I want to point out that in English, for Americans, we do make this sound. And for example, like I said, fountain, but we don't say water, we say water.
Yeah.
And it makes this kind of D sound, this d sound. And I couldn't tell you, I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you why that is. Because some words we do pronounce it. We do pronounce that glottal T. But if it's like water or butter, we don't say water or butter. It's butter and water. So, um, whenever you're listening for words in English, it's a lot easier to hear that D sound when Americans speak. But this glottal T sound in like fountain can be a little trickier. So let's go ahead and see what else she has to say with some other examples. Do we have any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
And then glottalize it. So like uh-oh, water, uh-oh, water. So if you struggle with this sound a little bit, start with 2-syllable words just to practice. Start with uh-oh, uh-oh, and then take a 2-syllable word, water, water. It could be another one, such as better, better, uh-oh, uh-oh, better, better. It just helps out if you start with 2-syllable words rather than getting stuck straight in with sentences and things. So
All right. I want everyone's best uh-oh sound. Let's start with Wenhee. Can you make uh-oh sound?
Uh-oh.
Perfect. All right, let's go with Mary.
Uh-oh.
Okay, very good. And then Dilnoza?
Uh-oh.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, let's see what else she has to say.
practice with that a little bit, and we're going to have a look at some rules now. So we pronounce the glottal T when we have either a vowel, a L, a M, a N, and then we have a T. So as I said, this can happen in the middle of words or it can happen at the end of words. For example, I could say, he was late. He was late. Here we have a vowel, A, and then T. I can change that to a glottal stop. He was late. He was late. Another example, the task.
So with the glottal stop, right, we have this, I'm going to make this the glugging sound, so like that, right? We have that sound. And with late, for example, I do use the glottal stop. I do say late. There's this thing that you might hear, I'll rewind it really quickly, where after she closes her throat, it's kind of like she's swallowing her tongue, and almost hiccuping at the same time. So it's like she's her throat's closing and kind of starting to swallow her tongue a little bit. And then after she stops making the last sound, right, in late, see how I just stopped? There's nothing else coming out. Late. There's no other letter after that. Late. In American English, when we're talking, usually we're speaking after a word that has a glottal stop. So notice that she breathes very slightly after she cuts off that letter. Late, late. She's kind of breathing a little bit there out of her nostrils to help her move into the next word she's going to say. Late. So I'm going to rewind it really quickly.
That to a glottal stop. He was late. He was late. Another example, the task was difficult. The task was difficult. Difficult. The task was difficult. Another example, I can't go. I can't go. I can't go. Now what happens here, I don't say I can go. I don't want to talk about this in too much detail in this video, but I just want to explain what's happening. Instead of saying I can't go and pronouncing that N as a N sound, I instead pronounce it as a Ng sound. In words like sing, king, you can also find this sound. So I can't go. I can't go. I can't go. Now, some of my students don't quite believe me when I do use the glottal stop, especially at the end of words. They notice it in the middle of words, but at the end, they sometimes think, hold on, you're just cutting the T, Emma. How do I know if it's a glottal stop or not? Let me use that first sentence that we looked at as an example. So we took the word late, that's with the T. Now, if I just remove the T, it would sound like he was lay, he was lay. If I glottalize it, it would sound like he was late, he was late, he was lay.
Do you hear that? She's making like a little sound at the end of it.
Yes.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me doing that?
Yeah.
Like that? Okay, good.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, ask a question.
Is she speaking British English?
She is speaking British English, yes.
Because we don't say I can't. I can't, maybe, yes?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So I don't say I can't or I can't. I say I can't, but
Mhm.
I still glottalize. You don't hear me
Mhm.
saying the T. I don't say I can't. I say I can't. I can't.
But how can we recognize if you are saying I can or I can't with negative meaning?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That
I
one's
know.
harder. That one's
When
harder.
when
Hmm.
when you are before when you are in front of me, yes, maybe I can from your gesture recognize if you are talking about negative one or positive one. But when we are like here virtual, it is not so easy to
You're
understand.
absolutely right. I'm so glad you said that. That one confuses even natural English speakers
Mhm.
sometimes. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes it confuses natural English speakers. So, what I would say, and I'm gonna speak from my regional accent, is that instead of saying can, I'll say kin.
Mhm.
I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. You kind of hear the eh sound. I can do that. I can go to the store. I can go to the mall. I can take your kids to soccer practice. I can read that book today. I can do my homework today. Usually, we'll be a lot harsher with the ah sound when we're being in the negative. So for cannot, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can do some homework, but I can't do all of it. I can do some homework, but I can't do all of it. Do do you hear that difference?
Yes.
Okay.
Negative one is a little bit longer, but the positive
Yeah.
the shorter one can be.
Right. I can do that, but I can't do all the homework. So,
So
yeah.
the negative, more stress.
More stress. Yeah, it's a little longer. It's a little uh yeah, a little longer, a little stronger in how you pronounce it. I can't do that. I can do that. I can't do that. I can do that. So, that's kind of the difference.
He was lay. He was lay. If I glottalize it, it would sound like he was late. He was late. He was lay. He was late. He was lay. He was late. You can hear that there is a little cut where there is the glottal stop. So hopefully that helps some people with that one. Now let's have a look at some sentences together. I do have a mixture of glottal stops in the middle of words and at the end of words in these sentences, just so you get plenty of practice. So the first sentence is, I felt better after having a drink of water. I felt better after having a drink of water.
So obviously, when you're speaking American English, you're not gonna talk like a British person unless you want to. I mean, no one's keeping tabs on how you want to talk, but some of you live here in the United States. I imagine maybe all of you live here, but yeah, I would say the sentence "I felt." So see, I'm not saying the T. I felt. I felt better after having a drink of water. So we know that better is better in English, and you drink water with that D sound that we use in English. But felt, we're still kind of cutting. See, I even did it there. We're cutting off that syllable. We're cutting off that T sound. Felt, 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 felt.
I felt better after having a drink of water. What time did he get there? What time did he get there? What time did he get there? Shut the door and sit down. Shut the door and sit down.
Shut the door and sit down.
Shut the door and sit down.
I'm gonna have you guys practice that one. Let's start with one here. Shut the door and sit down.
Shut the door and sit down.
Nice. Let's go with Mary.
Shut the door and sit down.
Okay. And then Dilnoza.
Shut the door and sit down.
Okay, thank you.
Shut the door and sit down. And the last one, don't stay out too late. Don't stay out too late.
That one's most similar to the American
Don't
accent.
stay out too late.
Don't stay out too
That's
late.
it for this video. I hope it's been
Okay. Now that you've seen that, we're going to watch one more slightly technical video that's going to show you tongue movement. It may help, it may not. I'm not good with diagrams myself, but hopefully it helps a little bit.
Hello there. This is the Sounds American channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the glottal T sound, as in the word button. You can also hear this sound in words like certain, satin, cotton, or kitten.
Kitten.
Now listen to how these words sound with the regular T. Certain, satin, cotton, or kitten. Can you hear a difference? In American English, these words are pronounced with the glottal T. It's not a mistake to use a regular T sound. Don't worry, you'll be perfectly understood. Still, the glottal T is typical for American English. So if you want to learn more about this sound and perfect your pronunciation skills, keep watching. Okay, let's begin with a question. What is a glottal T sound? If you watch the stop sounds overview video, you may remember that there are 6 stop consonants in American English. Still, we're now talking about another stop sound. Yes, that's right. The glottal T is a variation of the T sound that occurs only in a certain position in a word and is pronounced in a different way. What happens is that the T sound becomes a glottal T before a weak syllable ending with button.
Button.
Let's have everyone try that. So I heard when he do it. Could you do it one more time?
Button.
Perfect. Beautiful. Now I want to ask you, does that feel awkward to say it like that?
No,
Okay.
I was curious why I say different with native speakers, and then I said I say eaten, they say eaten, or I ask them how to pronounce n.
Yeah, eaten. Yeah.
Yeah, eaten. So now I understand now. Okay.
Okay, and then let's have Mary try it. Button.
Button.
So
But-
try and do try this. Go
Button.
That's still with a D. I think people would understand you, but try and repeat after me. Go say this. Say
Uh,
Okay, good. Try it one more time, Mary. Now go but.
button.
Close. Just say but.
Button.
No T.
Yeah, let's skip the full word for right now. So we're only gonna do half the
Button.
word.
No
Go-
T.
Yeah. So say but, and then go
Bun.
closer.
Bun.
Just repeat straight after me. So say but, and then
But
just say
Mm.
Okay,
button.
go but
Button.
Button. So the mouth is closed, button, or
kind of. I don't want to go into too much detail, but but try that one more time for me, Mary. Say the full word for me. Great. That was perfect. Oh my goodness. Good job. That was actually really good. I'm really proud of you. Good job. All right. Now, that sounded just like a native speaker. Dilnoza, can you do the same thing? Button.
Button.
Perfect. Good job, you guys. You did so well. All right. I'm not gonna torture you much longer. We're gonna watch them pronounce a couple more of these. I'll pause it on maybe one more word and we'll practice one more word, okay? But I'll let you know when that happens.
Mm. Button. Listen to some examples. Eaton, fountain, Hilton. Why does a regular T become a glottal T? Informal speech is usually very relaxed, so it's natural to swallow or drop vowels in weak syllables. Let's get back to our example. Button. The last vowel could be dropped. Button. But you still need to link the t and the n sounds. It's easier to stop the air in your throat and quickly direct it through your nose for the n. Button. That's essentially how the glottal T sound works.
So it's like for a second, don't focus too hard on this because I don't want this to get too complicated, but it's like he stops breathing for a second so that he can redirect it through the nostrils. Remember when I said in the last video, she kind of makes this nose sound when she says late. It's late, late. So when he says button, he's going but but button button button, and he's breathing through his nose at the same time he's saying the N. Button.
Now let's find out how to make this sound. We'll do it in 3 steps. Step 1. First, we'll learn to link the regular T sound and the N consonant without a vowel in between. Split the word button into 2 parts and pronounce them separately. Do it as slowly as you need. Don't rush it at this point. But, n. But, n. But, n. Next, try and link the t and the n by reducing the pause between them. Don't remove the pause completely, though. Just make it shorter. Button. 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 Step 2. Next, let's learn how to make our glottal T sound. We'll start by doing a small exercise to catch or stop the air in your throat using the common American expression, uh-oh. Learning this will help you make the glottal T in the next step. Make sure that you pause between the sounds when you say, uh-oh. You can do this by holding your breath for a moment with the muscles of your throat. Try it. Uh-oh. 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 Step 3. Now we'll replace the t in the word button with the glottal T. We'll pronounce the glottal T the same way we did with uh-oh. Here's how you do it. First, stop and hold the air in your throat on the glottal T. Then make the n sound. Don't forget to leave a short pause between the glottal T and the n sound. If you pronounce them too quickly, it'll sound wrong. Let's try saying the word button using the same melody as in uh-oh. Button. 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 Now, let's say this word more naturally. Remember, make the glottal T in your throat.
Okay. So we already did button. Let's try a different word. Let's try cotton. Let's start with Wenhee.
Cotton.
Perfect. You hear that sound that when he's making? Perfect. Cotton. Um, let's go with Dilnoza.
Cotton.
Okay, perfect. And then Mary.
Cotton.
Still saying the T. Let's
Cotton.
go cotton.
Cotton.
Cut. Perfect. Good job. All right.
Cotton. Curtain. Eaten.
Let's do eaten. Eaten is a very common word you will say when you're talking to people. So let's start with Mary. Let's say eaten.
Eaten.
That was perfect. That was really good. That was absolute. That was like 100 out of 100 perfect. Um, when he,
Eaten.
great job. And then Dilnoza,
Eaten.
perfect. All right.
Fatten.
Fatten.
Flatten. Forgotten.
Here's another word. Forgotten. That's a
Forgotten.
word. That's a word you'll probably hear a lot too, and that you'll use a lot. So let's try that one. When he forgotten.
Forgotten.
For good. And then Dilnoza,
Forgotten.
perfect. Mary,
Forgotten.
close, close. You're getting there.
Forgotten.
For say got like that.
Forgotten.
Yes, one more time. Forgotten.
Forgotten.
Yes, perfect. Oh, you guys are so good at this. All right. I thought this was going to be a lot harder.
Fountain.
Fountain.
Frighten. Gotten. Hilton.
Human.
Important.
Important. Oh,
Kitten.
kid.
Latin.
Latin.
Maintenance.
Okay, he said that one really fast. Maintenance. Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a harder one. That's a harder one. Don't stress about that one.
Maintenance.
Yeah. And then Dilnoza?
Maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance.
Maintenance.
Mittens. Mountain.
Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mutton.
mutton.
Remittance.
Remittance.
Rotten. Satin. Smitten. Sweeten.
Written.
Written. You're done.
So
Congrats.
oh,
Go
I have a
ahead.
question.
Yeah.
When to use glottal stop? Glottal stop. When to
It's it differs between dialects in English, right? So it differs between accents in English. Like for example, the British woman said butter, and I would say butter that you put on some bread, on some toast, butter. Um, so I can't give you personally right now. I don't want to give you a rule because sometimes when we speak languages, the rules get really complicated. And I don't think learning a language should be really math based, like, oh, which letter do I use here? And then when the vowel's over here, how do I
oh
say that? You know what I mean? Um,
yes.
I don't like doing that to people because then it makes it almost like a math exercise. And I think the more you just focus on speaking naturally without forcing yourself to think about it, it'll become easier over time. Like you'll master it, and one day you'll realize that you've mastered how to pronounce certain words. Um, but I don't want us to really force anything, at least in this class. So sorry, that was a long explanation, but to answer your question, just when you hear it, when you hear speakers hear it, because now that we've done this lesson, I know that all of you are probably going to hear it the next time someone speaks English when they say fountain or they say button or they say, um, what was another example? Mutton or certain or mountain or curtain. And um, you'll just know as those words come up. So my answer to you, which I'm sorry to disappoint you, my answer to you is just don't stress about it that much. Just focus on the words that you do know that maybe should have that sound, like curtain or button.
Okay.
Now that we kind of already know that those are common words you're going to hear a
Right.
lot. Yeah, so let's just focus on the common words for now that you already recognize.
Okay.
Congratulations.
And let's see. Okay, perfect. So we've done everything that I've pretty much wanted to do. Um, I did say wanted specifically with the T there, but we did everything I wanted to do. That's how I would say it to my friends. I would say it fast like that. We did everything we wanted to do. Um, and then we're going to do, I think, a short quiz, actually. So
Hmm.
I'm actually going to.
So I just memorize those words, general words, common words.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think you'll really need to memorize them
Oh,
because if you're talking to someone and you hear them say a word with a glottal T, then over time it's just going to be part of, your memory. If you want words that use glottal T, I'll give you a list if that helps you. Um, but yeah, I guess long story short, memorizing. I don't like the word memorizing. I don't think learning a language should be like school. But if you want homework, I'll give you homework. Yeah, if you want homework, I'll give you homework. But yeah, I'll give you guys a list if you want to look at a list. Right now, I'm gonna take off my screen sharing,
Hmm.
and I'm just gonna fix a couple things on my quiz so that it's not unfair to you. But while I'm doing that, let me hear from each of you. Let's start with Mary. Uh, what did you learn about this pronunciation and what's still hard about it?
Um, mm, for example, in Farsi, we speak with tongue,
Hmm.
but in English, speak with, is that what is it, true?
Yeah, with the throat. Yeah.
Truth,
Mhm. Yeah, with the
yes.
throat. Yeah,
It's so hard for me because mm, first time I learned, for example, B sounds is B, T
right.
sounds is a T, G sounds is a G. It's a,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, you're so correct about that. Um, English is originally a Germanic language. So, if you don't know, the history of English is that we spoke it very differently, like a lot of languages, and then the Roman Empire, where Latin comes from,
Mm,
um, they conquered England. Latin. I'm glottalizing Latin too. Do you hear that? It's not Latin,
Yeah.
it's Latin.
Yeah.
Latin. Latin was the official language of the English courts for 400 years. So we use a lot of Latin now, And we also use a lot of French. When France was split up into different countries, there were the Normans, there was Normandy. The Normans invaded England, and that's why we have a lot of French words and a lot of Latin words in English. But because of the origin of English when it first started, as a Germanic language, we still have a lot of these throat sounds, which is
Yeah.
also why if you hear a German person speak English, they're very good at it because there's still a lot of these throat sounds that we have in English that come from a shared language that we have with Germany. So, yeah, there are a lot of throat sounds, you're right. And I understand why that can be hard. I do. I
Uh,
understand why that can be hard. Wenhee, do you have something to say?
oh, I have a problem to pronounce the R, like grill, Grill, like for barbecue, the
Oh,
grill,
yeah, the grill.
grill, grill.
Yeah, yeah. I think the easiest way to do that is can you say grr?
Yeah, girl,
Yeah.
girl.
So in I know in some Chinese dialects in Mandarin, they do have what's called the rhotic R, which is like, for example, I say butter and I don't say butter or butter. I say butter, right? Butter. I say butter. So I think the easiest way to get used to the R sound in English is to add a vowel sound right before that R. So saying grill instead of saying grill, say grill and practice that until you can just say grill.
Oh, grill.
Yeah, grill. Yeah,
Oh, grill.
grill. Yeah. See how it's a little easier now that you added a vowel? Grill. You're kind of splitting up the word a little bit.
Grill.
Grill. And then eventually over time, you'll be able to say grill.
Oh,
Um, but but that might take some practice for you to get to that point. But yeah, if you remember just a couple times a week, just try to really pronounce those R words like grill. Sorry,
and
grill, and then say grill, grill, grill
grill, grill.
until you can say grill.
And world, world,
Oh,
world.
world. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, it's
World.
it can be difficult.
Uh,
Yeah, it these are some things because each of you speak a different language. Each of you will have unique challenges because you don't necessarily make that sound in your native language.
right.
Um, so for each of you, it'll be a different challenge. But I think for now, with these pronunciation classes, it should help a little bit. Hopefully. Oh, I found my duplicate. All right, I can start editing. I just need to get rid of a couple things. And then Dilnoza, what about you? Is this a hard thing for you to pronounce, or do you have practice with the glottal T?
Glottal T, I think maybe with the practice it will be better for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. But I compare every time the sounds like in English, in German, and in Russian. They are very different, you know.
They
I
are.
studied
Mhm.
German language. It's different from English one. And Russian, it's also the different one. All the sounds are not the same, you mean? I mean,
Yeah, and I think that's good because like I've noticed with you specifically, Dilnoza, that you are very good at pronouncing certain things, and it makes sense now that you've said you're learning some different languages because even if you don't get really good at those languages, you expose yourself to the way they sound when they speak. And so the more you hear different ways different people around the world speak, the easier it is to start speaking to them in a way that
mhm.
they can understand. You know what I mean? Um,
You just noticed about sh sound in German. Then I just remembered some sentence. Die Deutsche Sprache ist very schwer. You see
I
the
can't make
sh
that sound.
sound.
I don't think I hear that, but I don't think I can make that sound. Yeah, that's a hard one. All I can do is say sh 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 sh. I don't know. I hear it, but I can't make that sound.
Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah, so yeah, that's really great. It's good you're learning some other languages too. It's very helpful. Okay, so we have literally, I think, just 3 questions. I don't know if that's right. I'm gonna make a couple questions here. I'm gonna go off camera for a second, and then we're gonna join a Kahoot, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. We have just 2 questions, 3 questions technically, for our last Kahoot, and then we're done for class for the day. So let me share my screen one more time, wherever it is. Where is it? There we go. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're gonna go back to kahoot.it, and the game pin is 6758301. Awesome. All right, we're gonna start it. Uh-oh, what's my favorite fruit? We did this on the first quiz. Mango. Mango. You're thinking of last time. My favorite fruit as a
Right.
child was
Oh,
kiwi.
you
Yeah,
treasure.
yeah, I changed it. Yeah, I tricked
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yeah, my current favorite fruit is mango.
Okay. Hmm.
I do want to just say, sometimes in class, just because this is a intermediate class, I'm not always going to speak like a native. Sometimes I will use the T sound for emphasis. Just that way everyone understands what I'm saying.
Right.
So I can't say this one for you. You guys have to read it.
What? Scroll buzzer.
So
But it was
Tech-
correct. It was
technic-
correct.
technically, sorry, I should have been specific. Technically, you are all correct. In British English, it would be butter, but in American English, it's butter. So that's my fault. But yeah, butter. So there's no glottal sound in butter in American English. Last question. Yep. The T in mountain is pronounced with a glottal sound. Absolutely correct. All right. That's it. Short quiz, 3 questions. Some of you, I think, might be mad at me for that second question. Sorry. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, but butter.
I'm
Water.
mad at you for the first question.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. Good job, you guys. Okay, we can end class a little early today. Do we have any comments, questions, concerns, anything for next time?
Thank you. Everything is.
I think
Thank you.
I'm all good with
Okay.
your teaching.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
guys so
appreciate your
much.
your teaching class. It was very helpful.
Right, very
Good.
helpful.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm gonna send all of you a chart in the WhatsApp chat. Just that way you can see all the different words with the glottal T.
Mhm.
And if you want, you can practice that on your own time, or just maybe next time you hear someone speak, you'll be like, oh yeah, they're using that sound. They're not pronouncing their T's. So
Sounds good. Thank you
Yeah,
so
great,
Thank
great,
you.
perfect. Thank you.
all right.
Have a
Bye.
good night.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.